Diplomatic win for India after Nepal. Now Beijing climbs down and stuns Modi critics. And Times Now tells you the story behind India's diplomatic win. Times Now accesses details of the phone calls and meetings. The Doklam team of Prime Minister Modi coordinated the entire plan. All right, let's in fact go across to Nikunj Garg, who's joining us for more on the story. Nikunj, we know Vivek Narayan also joining us on the broadcast. Pradeep Datta also with us. I'll come to you first, Nikunj. It is the highest levels of the government that this entire plan was worked out, that the calls were made, and various people who were coordinating this were the same team that were in action when India was trying to counter China in Doklam.
Well, absolutely, Madhav. The National Security Advisor's centrality of his role, his relationship with the Chinese strategic partners, his counterparts in the Chinese strategic thinking groups that he has been continually engaging with. And of course, when a crisis of this magnitude, which many would see as a crisis, the government of India would see as an aberration on a territory which has long been disputed from both sides, and where patrols have usually sometimes have entered into what would many not call as cordial situations. Then therefore, at the apex of the country's political situation, the stock has to be taken. Prime Minister Modi and his team is well versed after 6 years of their administration as to when to use the diplomatic push, when to use the political capital, and when to use the military prowess also, only for the display purposes with Chinese, to drive home a message. The message of the fact that the Indians are not any pushovers, and Chinese cannot, just because they want to show belligerence and bellicosity under some international pressures and pressures from the multilateral forums, use India as a pressure point and try to show to the world that, look here, we have our military might and we can force into submission a bulwark that the world considers against China, which is India, into submission. So that is something about that, the resoluteness of the Indian political leadership, the message from the Prime Minister Modi's Prime Minister's office is absolutely crystal clear, that we will not back off, we will not back down under pressure. Negotiations are completely different thing, and negotiations do have to happen on multiple occasions, not only with China, with all your neighbors.
All right. In fact, let me take that question across to Vivek Narayan as well. Vivek Narayan, it's not just the National Security Advisor, but also the Minister of External Affairs, who in his earlier avatar as the Foreign Secretary has also, in fact, been very closely associated in dealing with China. He has also been India's ambassador to China. So clearly, a lot of experience in diplomacy and a very pivotal role that the External Affairs Minister has also played.
Madhav, a lot of thinking has gone behind the NDA's, the Modi-led government's approach towards China. If you let me take you back about 2 decades back, from around 1998-99 onwards, when Atal Bihari Vajpayee's government first came into power, it was Mr. George Fernandez who clearly pointed out that let's not look westward, eastward is perhaps our enemy number one. He said that in as many words as that China is our enemy number one. Following that, when Mr. Modi became the Prime Minister, it was quite evident there were multiple levels of approach that the Modi government, the NDA one at that point, which came up with. This included strategic talks with the Chinese diplomatic leadership, also raising of India's own high altitude warfare schemes, also Doklam, such air bases like Daulatabad, Goldi were all activated. Remember, that is precisely why in 2017, when we had a situation at Doklam, we had a career diplomat who had been taken. At that point, Mr. Jaishankar was the Foreign Secretary. He was the helm of the affairs. He made sure, though the Doklam standoff went on for 70 plus days, it was resolved in a manner which completely suited India's interests. Even now, there was a reason why Mr. Jaishankar is in the cabinet. It is essentially because Prime Minister Modi knows that we need a career diplomat, a person of Mr. Jaishankar's caliber, and NSA Doval for that matter, people who know things, who have handled things in person, not career politicians, to head this situation. That's precisely why we have a result with us. I will not call it a complete victory for Indian side or something, but we have been managed to stare back at the dragon, and as of now, they have blinked.
All right, there is some information coming in at this point of time. Request Pradeep Datta also to stay on with us. This is the information that we are, in fact, putting out at this point in time. The Modi government has clearly underlined its intent with what has transpired with China. Very clearly, MEA sources coming out to indicate that India is optimistic of a solution. There's been discussions at the ground level, the military level and diplomatic level as well. India has been courteous but firm. There will be no compromise with territorial integrity. We want to avoid any misunderstandings. All government sources are telling Times Now. Let's go across to Srinjoy for more on that. Srinjoy, very clearly the government does not want to budge an inch as far as the territorial integrity of the LAC is concerned.
Yes, what we've heard is that there is optimism in the air. Very clearly that there is a feeling that this problem will get sorted out. That's really the first thing. I spoke with very senior people who believe that this problem is going to get sorted out. When we do not know, there are still troops on the ground. That's number one. Number two is the fact that, yes, there have been talks, as you rightly said, at the ground level, at the military level, at the diplomatic level. All of these things have happened. And India, as you rightly said, is not going to compromise on territorial integrity. But India is also making it very clear that there should be no misunderstandings between countries. That point is very clear. So the basic point is this, Madhav, that there is optimism in the air. There is a feeling that things will get sorted out between India and China as far as this border situation is concerned.
All right, Srinjoy, thanks so much for joining us with that information. Let's listen into the statement coming in from the Chinese ambassador or the High Commissioner to India, Sun Weidong.
Hope that the youth of our two countries could realize the importance of developing China-India relations and deepen your understanding of the important consensus reached by our two leaders. We should adhere to the basic judgment that China and India are each other's opportunities and pose no threat to each other. We need to see each other's development in a correct way and enhance strategic mutual trust. And we should correctly view our differences and never let the differences shadow the overall situation of bilateral cooperation. And at the same time, we should gradually seek understanding through communication and constantly solve differences.
All right, moving on. Such has been the abdication by Rahul Gandhi that yesterday he disowned Maharashtra. Today he has disowned his own words. In yet another spectacular self-call, the Gandhi scion accused the media of spreading fake news after he said that Congress doesn't have a say or doesn't have a call in what is transpiring in Maharashtra. What he seems to forget is that his abdication of Maharashtra was captured verbatim on camera during the press conference. Here are the two videos, one where he shirks the onus and the other where he edits out the inconvenient truth. Let's listen in.
But we are not the key decision maker in Maharashtra. We are the key decision maker in Punjab. We are the key decision maker in Chhattisgarh, in Rajasthan, in Pondicherry. So there is a difference between running a government and supporting a government. However, Maharashtra is struggling because of the nature of its connectivity. And Maharashtra is one of the most important assets, frankly, that India has. Maharashtra is struggling because of the nature of its connectivity. And Maharashtra is one of the most important assets, frankly, that India has. It is the center of business. So it requires full support from the government of India. I fully understand that Maharashtra is fighting a very difficult battle, and I appreciate that fact. And so are many other states. And it is important that full support of the government of India goes to the people of Maharashtra and the government of Maharashtra. मगर एक स्पिरिट से मैं कहना चाहता हूं, देखिए डेमोक्रेसी में अगर महाराष्ट्र में सरकार है तो बीजेपी का काम उसको अपोज करने का है, कोई गलती नहीं है। अगर बीजेपी सवाल उठाना चाहती है, कंस्ट्रक्टिवली सवाल उठाना चाहती है, उनको उठाना चाहिए, उससे फायदा होता है, उससे हमारी सरकार उनकी बात सुनकर सीख सकती है, एक्सेप्ट कर सकती है, तो इसमें कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है। मगर डेमोक्रेटिक स्ट्रक्चर को उखाड़कर बिना कोई कारण प्रेसिडेंट रूल लगाना, उसमें और कंस्ट्रक्टिव ऑपोजिशन में बहुत फर्क है।
All right, let's listen to a reaction coming in from Union Law Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad.
He is trying to weaken the resolve of the country in the fight against corona. This campaign is based upon falsehood, misrepresentation and deliberate twisting of facts. अब थोड़ा मैं राहुल गांधी के बारे में विस्तार से बताना चाहता हूं। देश का संकल्प उन्होंने कैसे कमजोर करने की कोशिश की, इसको 4 खंडों में रख रहा हूं। स्प्रेडिंग नेगेटिविटी, वर्किंग अगेंस्ट द नेशन ड्यूरिंग क्राइसिस, तीसरा हंग्री फॉर फॉल्स क्रेडिट, चौथा से वन थिंग डज समथिंग एल्स, और पांचवा है मिस इन्फॉर्मेशन और फेक न्यूज।
All right, let's go across to our guests now who are joining us for more on the story. We have with us Gopal Krishna Agarwal. He's a spokesperson of the BJP. But I'll go across first to Ashutosh Mishra, senior journalist, joining us on the broadcast. Ashutosh Mishra, you know, the fact is that Rahul Gandhi is at one hand pointing fingers at the media, but then he edits his own soundbite and posts it. Why does he not want to face what he has himself said? It's on the basis of what Mr. Rahul Gandhi said, that there are different types of government. In Punjab, we have a chief minister. In Maharashtra, we do not. Why does he want to run away from that?
Gandhi is running away from anything. If anyone is running away from...
Sir, he is editing his own video.
It is the Modi government and BJP. What they are trying to do is divert...
Everything is Modi government.
What is
the problem with Congress is...
Maharashtra right now. One second. Gopal Agarwal, one second.
Let's see.
Ashutosh, I'll let you respond. But I am just saying that we are discussing Maharashtra. Are there no ministers in the government?
For trying to frustrate.
What do you mean by supporting a government from outside?
In Maharashtra also, BJP is playing politics, whether it be the railway minister or Devendra Fadnavis or the governor himself.
Sir,
what we are seeing here.
We can discuss that. Let's first address the issue at hand. Let's first address the issue at hand, which is Rahul Gandhi. How can he say that we are not part of the government, we are supporting it? Can Mr. Rahul Gandhi shirk responsibility from the Maharashtra government?
The buck stops at the person who is in charge, and he has never said that
Congress has no accountability.
Congress model of Bhilwara was praised the world over, and that's...
Sir, why are you going to Bhilwara? Let's talk about Maharashtra first. Please don't go to Rajasthan. We are discussing Maharashtra and accountability of the government there.
Accusing migrants from Maharashtra and other states who are returning home of bringing corona with them without any tests happening.
All right.
What we are seeing here is that Ravi Shankar Prasad is being a clever lawyer who knows that his own case is weak, so he's trying to back into his...
Well, unfortunately, there have been a lot of factual errors in the past. I'm going to get Gopal Agarwal come in.
Rahul Gandhi,
Okay, Gopal Agarwal. Gopal Agarwal.
This is the problem with the Congress, and particularly with the Rahul Gandhi. For everything and anything, they just want to just put blame and sit in their air-conditioned houses and give advices. That's what they think. In isolated issues, if you see the way Maharashtra is being mismanaged, the way it is more than 35% of the national cases are coming from Maharashtra. The hospitals are not working, functioning. Who is responsible for them? Even the police force is getting infected. The quarantine issue is not being handled. Everywhere the administration is complete failure. They are not even enforcing lockdown anything. And instead of taking the government to task, Rahul Gandhi should take responsibility and ask his chief minister supported whether they are part of the government. Because of them, the Maharashtra government is standing. Who is talking about president rule at present now? He is bringing the name of president rule being imposed. The thing is, at this corona crisis, the state is mismanaging. The chief minister is a complete failure. They are even not able to control or save their own corona warriors like police force, medical staff. amount of apathy that is being created there.
All right.
So
No,
he
the
should
fact is- the
now
fact
take
is-
responsibility.
The fact is that there is an elected government there. Congress is part of that government, and it's one thing to say that you are supporting a government from outside, but certainly when ministers are part and they have sworn in as part of the cabinet, then certainly at some level or the other, you're part of the government. There has to be accountability. That's something that no political party, whichever party it may be, can run away from. I'd like to thank both of you gentlemen for joining us on the broadcast. We're still slipping into a very quick break for now. Tamil Nadu has crossed the 18,000 mark. 817 new cases of coronavirus were reported in Tamil Nadu today, the highest single-day spike. 558 out of 817 cases are from Chennai. 567 patients were discharged today and 6 new COVID-19 deaths were reported. The total tally is 18,545 cases, of which 9,909 have been discharged. Let's go across to Shilpa for more on that. Shilpa, once again, the single-day highest spike ever.
Well, that's right, Madhav. In fact, Tamil Nadu is continuing to record high surge in number of COVID-19 cases. In fact, today, 870 new cases of coronavirus have been reported from the state. This is the highest single-day spike that the state has recorded. Out of these 817 cases, 558 of them are from Chennai. 567 patients have been discharged today, and 6 new COVID-19 deaths have also been recorded. So the total tally is, of course, 18,545 cases of coronavirus, where 9,909 patients have been discharged, and the death toll stands at 133. Out of these 870 new cases that have been reported, 139 are passengers who came to Tamil Nadu from other states. 138 of them came from Maharashtra, and 1 person came from Kerala. So this is the data that the Tamil Nadu Health Department has put out. But nevertheless, this is extremely concerning. The rate at which the number of cases are going up in Tamil Nadu, despite the containment measures undertaken by the Health Department, we are still seeing a surge in the number of cases.
All right. We'll leave it there for the moment, Shilpa. Thanks so much for joining us with that update. And sources are telling Times Now that we're carefully following developments in Nepal. Border issues are sensitive by nature and require trust and confidence to be resolved to mutual satisfaction. We note that there is a larger ongoing debate on this matter in Nepal and underlines the seriousness of this issue. It also demonstrates the value being attached to relations between Nepal and India, and we continue to monitor the situation in Nepal. So this is, of course, India as far as Nepal is concerned, talking about the need for trust on all sides to resolve the issue, and also talking about how the Indian government is going to very closely monitor the developments taking place in Nepal. The border issue is a very sensitive one by nature, requires the trust and confidence to be resolved to mutual satisfaction. Also, there is, of course, they're taking note of the fact that the larger ongoing debate on this matter is on within Nepal, and also underlining the seriousness of this issue, saying that it demonstrates the value being attached to relations between Nepal and India. Let's go across to Srinjoy for more on that. Srinjoy, very clearly, trust and confidence are paramount for the resolution of this issue, and the Indian government clearly monitoring the situation in Nepal very closely.
Yes, absolutely right. What we are hearing is that the government is very keen, and there is surely hope that things will get sorted out very quickly. We also know what is happening on the Chinese side. You have seen what has been put out. It's very, very clear. But as far as Nepal is concerned, the government has made it very clear. We have heard on sources that the border issues are sensitive by nature, and there is a requirement for trust, for confidence to resolve this. And also that there is a requirement for a larger ongoing debate in this with this matter in Nepal itself. But there is a seriousness here, and this seriousness is manifest in the importance that both India and Nepal are attaching to this situation.
All right. Thanks so much, Srinjoy, for joining us with that update. On that note, we're slipping into a very quick break. The news continues on the other side. Stay tuned.